Well, hi folks, 2nd of May now, so it's time to do some more seed sowing. I'm going to sow some of my tender stuff and repeat sow some of my normal things like lettuce again. But the things that are going to go in now, which are going to be new, are, put the labels around the right way. I'm going to be sowing some cucumbers. These are called Burpee's Bush Champion. I've got a Courgette variety called Defender, and I've also got another Courgette variety, a new one to me if I can find it, called Aurelia F1. Quite bushy apparently, but this one's a yellow variety, so should be a bit different. Still would be as tasteless as the green ones, but we'll have a go with that. So these will go into the propagator at about 70 degrees until they germinate. So what I always do with seeds like this that are quite flat is try and place them on their edge, because the emerging shoot actually comes out of the side of the seed, and if you put it on the edge, then it's got more chance of coming up. It's not sort of pushing against the weight of the seed. So I forgot Aurelia. So what I'll do with these, couldn't be easier, I'm just going to put 2 in each pot, about the same depth as the depth of the seed. So these probably about ½ centimetre deep on their edge, like I said. So I'm just going to put, like I said, two in each pot, and then if both of them germinate, then I'll just thin out to the strongest one. Exactly the same with the Courgette. I'm not too hopeful about these Courgettes because these are quite old seeds, so they may not germinate, but that's why I've got this other variety as a backup. So again, couldn't be easier. Pretty similar seed. Just plonk them on their edge, push them in about 1 centimetre deep, and then just quite simply just cover them up with a bit of compost. Give them a little bit of a watering in, and like I said, these will go into the propagator about 70-75 degrees. So it's exactly the same with the cucumbers. These are probably going to be a lot smaller seed. See if I can get into them. These are a little bush variety. They can be grown outdoors apparently, but they just make small cucumbers. Quite spiny sometimes, but quite easy to grow. There's not many of these in a pack, but again, I'll put 2 in. These are very small seeds, if you see. So these just barely want to be under the surface. But again, I'll just do it exactly the same. Try and put them on their edge, about the same depth as the size of the art under the surface, and just cover them back up with a little bit of compost. So I'll give them a bit of a water, put them in my propagator, and see how we get on with those. So that's the really tender stuff done. Put my little seeds back, and then the next thing to do are the French beans. Now the variety I grow are called Cobra, which are a fantastic bean. I grow them inside the polytunnel, but you can grow them outdoors as well. But I only grow just six single plants up canes 6 inches apart, and honestly they'll produce about 30 pounds of really succulent stringless beans. But even if you do let them go a little bit bigger than they should be, they don't go stringy, they don't go tough, they're still succulent. So again, couldn't be easier. Just make a little hole, maybe 1 centimetre deep, ½ inch deep. And because I only use so few plants, a packet of seeds lasts forever, so you can see the seeds. I'm just going to, again, plonk 2 in each little impression like that. And if they both come up, like I said, again, just pinch out the weaker one and leave the stronger one growing. So it couldn't be easy to plant beans. A little tip I'll give you about planting beans is don't water them that much. They don't like it being absolutely saturated because they've got a tendency to rot. So if you just dampen it so there's a little bit of moisture you can get into the seeds, that's more than enough to get them going. So there's enough there to make 30 pounds of French beans. And then again, I'm going to sow some more peas, second batch of peas. Again in a gutter. I'm only doing a shorter row this time. It's about a 5 foot row, just for a second crop. So again, I'm using a gutter, just filled it up with bog standard compost to within about a centimetre of the top. And like I did last time, I'm just going to broadcast this seed over the surface. No need to be too cute and measure them out. And hopefully these will germinate a little bit quicker than the last ones. Oh, just put a little bit of compost on top. So again, no need to be cute. Just put a layer of compost on, about a centimetre thick. A lot of the books say plant peas about 2 inches deep, and I think that's ridiculous. You know, they're likely to rot before they germinate, and they've got such vigorous roots that as long as they're covered and they've got a bit of moisture, then that's it. No need to plant them as deeply as that, especially outside when it's cold, because then they really have a chance of rotting off before they germinate. So again, couldn't be easier. Now that it's warmed up, these can probably just go in the polytunnel to germinate rather than going inside with any extra warmth. So again, just give these a little bit of a watering, and then as soon as they get big enough, we'll plant them out in another row. So that's the second lot of peas done. And then finally, I'm going to grow another batch of lettuce, or lettuces, whatever you want to call them. Make sure I plant them in the right place. So I've got my favourite multi-green, which are a frilly variety. Absolutely idiot-proof, fantastic variety, quite difficult to get hold of, but they are well worth it if you can get hold of them. You don't get a great deal of seeds in your packet, but you get more than enough. So again with these, I've just made a little dimple in the compost, maybe half a centimetre deep again, maximum. And again, I'm just going to put a couple of little seeds in each one and thin out to the strongest. Don't really want to waste too many of these because they are quite expensive. Well, they're about £2 a packet, and when you consider a decent lettuce in the supermarket, it's £1. They're not actually that dear, are they? What have we got now? Get a bit mixed up. Little germ. Now you get plenty of these for your money, so I've no need to be too stingy with these. You get, look at that, you just get absolute handful of these. So I don't need to mess about trying to get 2 in. Just put a pinch in, thin these out. I think I got 2,000 seeds for £1.50 or something. So individually they're basically free. They're about 10 seeds for a penny. So that's all good stuff. I'm going to grow a second lot of rocket because although they did say, I've already sowed a batch, they did say that they didn't tend to bolt, this variety. I'm not too convinced about that. So I'll grow another crop. And again, you'll hardly be able to see that. They're absolutely minuscule out. Rocket seeds, so trying to get 2 or 3 in each one is going to be a job. No way. They're absolutely tiny. I think they're the smallest vegetable seed there are by far. They're about the size of a foxglove seed, if you know how small they are, or some of the smaller poppy seeds. And finally, we've got this one, which is another crinkly one with a little bit of crunch to it, called Record. Doesn't grow too big, but it's nice to get a bit of a few different varieties, exactly the same way. Try and get a couple in each, and that's got about 7 in. So obviously these won't go into a propagator, these can just go into the polytunnel with a propagator lid on, no heat. And it shouldn't be too long before they're up, so I'll just rid a little bit of compost over the top. We don't need a great deal, just enough to cover the seed. It was being quite neat and tidy up until that moment. We'll just straighten it up. So yeah, just give that a little bit of a watering in, put the top on, and Bob's your uncle. And then finally, this will be the third batch of these, which is my spring onions. So I'll keep growing these just continuously all throughout the year, every month. I grow them in multi-sown modules, so I'll try and put about 6 to 8 seeds in each module, and they grow in clumps. So instead of just harvesting them singly, you can just pull the whole clump up, and there you've got a bunch of spring onions ready to go. Again, couldn't be easier, just doesn't matter how many you put in, anything from 4 to 10, however many you like. And they always seem to grow a lot better when I transplant them rather than growing them from seed directly outside. Never had any success with that for some reason, no idea why. But no, doing it this way gives them a head start, and they always seem to do well. I won't bother riddling, I'll just push the sand off the soil compost back over the holes, give them a little bit of a cover up, and then that's it. So that's it, that's what I'm sowing in May now. Got my cucumbers, my courgettes, second lot of lettuce, French beans, and a third lot of spring onions. Everything's hard enough now. I've got my tomatoes hardening off, so they'll be getting planted out into the pots in the polytunnel in the next couple of days. So that's it folks, tender stuff planted. See you later.